Hey guys, Jared here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the Konami news. So, you all know what's going on. Konami's CEO, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that, mentioned the fact that Konami is going to be pulling out of the traditional games market and going to be focusing primarily on the mobile market. They said that's where the future of gaming is at, and I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of rant videos talking about, like, to hell with Konami and all this sort of stuff. I'm sort of halfway there. I'm more sad and disappointed than anything else. I understand why they're doing this. If you look at it, they're a Japanese company, and in Japan, both the handheld and the traditional console market is pretty much dead. If you look at the weekly sales, it's pretty sad. It's pretty pathetic. It's just not moving. These games aren't selling. Consoles and handhelds just aren't selling anywhere near as many units as they used to. So I get that. They're a Japanese company. They look at the Japanese market and they're like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. Like, Japan is dominated right now by the mobile scene. The mobile game market is where everyone is making a ridiculous amount of money over in Japan. And in the worldwide market, it's pretty true as well. Like, there's a lot of game companies that are making a lot of money from the mobile space. However, and this is the key thing for me, there's so much filler on that platform, on Android, on iOS, whatever. It's ridiculous how much filler is there. I would go as far as saying like 85 to 90% of the games are filler. They're not going to sell anything. They're crap games, they're clones, they're Me Too's, they're whatever. And then you'll have your like 10%, maybe not even, maybe I'm exaggerating, and it's like 5%. That are actual like standouts, that are actual games that are you play them and you're like, oh wow. And one of the main issues that's been spoken about a lot or talked about a lot is the lack of controls. The controls suck for the most part on most of these mobile platforms. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of hardcore gamers or traditional gamers just shy away. They're like, no, I don't want to play on my phone or on my tablet. That's not what I want to do. And it's sad, man. It's so sad to see Konami essentially saying that, like, after Metal Gear Solid 5, it's looking like that's it. Like, you won't be able to play another Metal Gear, another Castlevania, another Contra, another Suikoden, another Pro Evolution Soccer, another anything except for on the mobile platforms. And I'll be surprised with that, to be really honest, because Pro Evolution Soccer and Metal Gear Solid are series that sell ridiculous amounts of money. I understand that their budgets are high, but they sell a lot of copies in the international market. And for them to just say, no, we're going to be putting all our effort into mobile, I really don't see them doing that straight away. It might happen, it really might. And if that's the case, I'll be honest with you, it's going to suck. It's going to suck because there is a market here. This is what I don't understand. Look at Iga, okay? Koji Igarashi's Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. It just crossed $2 million as of the time of this recording on Kickstarter, and he already got funded. So the odds, what I'm looking at with that game, I think it had a $5 million budget. And now with Kickstarter, it's got a $7 million budget, and that's a lot for a 2D game. That's a pretty significant amount of money. That should end up being a very good game based on just the money alone. There, I have faith that they're gonna do a good job. But Iga had to redo all the sprites. It's not like what he could do with his 3DS games or even the PlayStation game. People don't understand this. Even though Symphony of the Night was a ridiculously big game and had tons of weapons and stuff like that, a lot of the game featured recycled sprites from Rondo of Blood. So that cut the development cost quite substantially just with that. And then by taking those sprites, those assets, and transferring them to the next game, and 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 so on and so forth, the budgets for these games were pretty contained. They were realistic, so that if the game sold, they would almost be guaranteed to be profitable because the budgets weren't out of control. And the profit margins on video games as a whole, especially now, are insanely small. They're low. Because if a game costs $100 million to make, do you realize how many copies have to be sold to make that money back? And that's the thing I don't understand with Konami. They have these games like the Contras and Castlevanias. They could reuse assets and release them as cheaper digital downloads. And what I've been saying for a long time now is release these games as digital downloads for like $10, $15, even $20. And then when we've got like say like 5 or 10 of them, compile them all together, slap it on a disc, and there you go. Sell the disc, and bam! All the people who want to buy physical releases can now buy your like digital download collection, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. I don't see how that's too much of a risk. Maybe that's me. Maybe like I'm wearing my rose-tinted glasses here, and it's just nostalgia playing tricks on me. But I don't get that. Is that really that much of a risk? Like Strider, that to me was a risk for Capcom because they did redo the whole game from the ground up. And if they wanted to do like a Strider 2 though, they could reuse assets from that original game. But it just seems more and more that that's not going to happen. And we're going to have to go to the indies in order to get the games that we really like. Look at Mega Man as another perfect example. It makes no sense to me. You could reuse those assets, release it digitally, and you have to make money. It's impossible that you're not making money. But with Konami, again, you got to look at it from a business perspective. I get it that they're looking at the bottom line, and on the bottom line, they're like, well, we're making more money from our pachinko machines, which are Japanese gambling machines. We're making more money from mobile. We're making more money from this, that, or the other thing. Why would we invest so heavily in the console gaming market when these other areas are making us tons and tons and tons of money? But my answer to that is, don't forget where you came from. Like, we are the ones who made you what you are today. If it wasn't for your Castlevanias and your Contras and all those early hits, you would not be here today. And the same is true for Capcom. So there's got to be a way that you can sort of appease the fans and the shareholders at the same time. Focus on your mobile, that's fine. But just don't leave us out hanging here. And it sucks. Because the odds are now, I don't play virtually anything on my phone. I don't. I use it for work purposes and that's it. The more I use my phone, the more I'm connected to work. And so I don't want that. I do not want that at all. And as I'm getting older, I'm actually disconnecting more and more and more from phones and things like that because I just don't want to spend that much time on my phone because it means that I'm spending more and more time at work because emails, text messages from colleagues and stuff. And it's like, no, you know what? When I'm out of work, I want to be out of work. I want to enjoy myself. I don't want to have that link tethering me to work all the time. And that's one thing with consoles that are great with retro gaming and all of that is that I have that divide. And now, if they're only going to focus on mobile, well, forget it, man. I think that'll be it for me, for Konami. And I'm really worried. I am truly worried that the same thing is going to happen with Capcom. But we'll see. At least Capcom hasn't made any crazy announcements, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, guys, how did you feel about the Capcom news that they're saying that mobile is the future of gaming and that they're going to be focusing most of their efforts over there? That will be their platform of choice moving forward. So what do you think about all this news? Are you like me and pretty much saying like, well, that's pretty much it for Capcom, for Konami then? Anyways, guys, leave a comment. Let me know. I'd like to hear from you. And that's it. So I'll see you guys all in the next video.